I don't usually tell stories like this. To be honest, I never thought I would. But something happened that winter, something I can't explain, and I feel like someone out there needs to hear it. My name's Debbie Carson. I live in a little farmhouse outside of Hillsboro, Ohio. I've been widowed a few years now. My husband, Mike, passed from cancer way too fast, and for reasons I won't go into right now, my only son, Josh, stopped speaking to me not long after the funeral. We had a falling out. Words we both regret. And since then? Silence. It's a strange thing, silence. At first it hurts. Then you get used to it. Then after a while it starts to feel normal. That's what scared me the most, that I'd gotten comfortable in the quiet. I still prayed sometimes. Kind of. Little prayers, mostly out loud while doing dishes or folding laundry. Lord, watch over him, or help me make it through today. But after a while, even those started to feel like I was talking to myself. Anyway, it was just a few days before Christmas. The weather had turned ugly, big heavy flakes coming down fast. One of those storms that hushes the world. My sister Carol called that morning and said, "Deb, why don't you come down and stay with us for Christmas?" I gave her the usual excuse, "We'll see how the roads look." But later that afternoon, I found myself pacing the kitchen. Couldn't sit still. I looked out the window, saw all that white piling up, and something just pushed me. I threw on my coat, grabbed the banana bread I'd baked for no one in particular, and headed out. As I got into the car, I remember whispering, "God, I don't know what I'm doing, but if you've still got eyes on me, I could use a sign." I didn't mean it as a test. I was just tired. Tired of the cold, tired of the silence. Tired of feeling like I didn't matter to anyone anymore. I didn't know then, but something was waiting for me out on that road. The drive was slow. My old Buick isn't much of a snow car, but she's faithful. The roads were mostly empty, just snow and a few brave tire tracks ahead of me. That kind of quiet where even the radio feels too loud, you know? About 40 minutes in, right past the old Miller barn, I saw someone. A man. Walking alone. Head down. No gloves. Just this thin, soaked coat, trudging through the snow like he didn't feel the cold at all. My first thought? Keep going. Too dangerous. Not your problem. But something made me slow down. And then, before I knew it, I was pulling over. And let me tell you, I had no idea what I was stepping into. Not a clue. I rolled the window down just a crack. The wind whipped in like a warning. "You okay?" I called out. He stopped walking, looked up, and gave the smallest nod. His face was flushed from the cold, cheeks raw, nose red. He looked young, maybe early 30s, but something about his eyes felt much older. Like he'd seen a lot. "Where you headed?" I asked. "Anywhere warmer," he said with a crooked smile. His voice was calm, steady. Something about it put me at ease. Which is strange, looking back. I unlocked the door. "Get in before you freeze." He didn't say much as he got in, just brushed the snow off his coat and gave me a quiet thank you. He smelled like snow and old wool. Not bad, just real. We drove in silence for a bit. I kept glancing at him out of the corner of my eye. He didn't look dangerous, just tired. Worn down. Like the kind of tired that isn't just about sleep. Eventually, I asked, "You from around here?" He shook his head. "Just passing through." I didn't press. We were strangers, after all. Then he said something that stuck with me. He looked straight ahead and said, "You've been carrying a lot. It's heavy, isn't it?" I didn't respond. I didn't have to. He wasn't asking a question. He was naming something out loud. Something I hadn't even admitted to myself. After a few more miles, I decided to stop at a little rest area, a place with vending machines and an old payphone. I told him I needed to make a call to let my sister know I was coming. I left the car running. Purse still on the passenger seat. Banana bread in the back. When I came back out, he was still there. Just sitting quietly, hands folded in his lap. Didn't touch a thing. "I thought maybe you'd be gone," I said with a half laugh, half nervous chuckle. He just smiled. "You stopped for a reason." I didn't know what to make of that. But something about him, his calm, his stillness, made the air feel different. Like time had slowed down around him. And then, just before I pulled back onto the road, he turned to me and said something I'll never forget. "You'll see him again. Sooner than you think." I opened my mouth to ask what he meant, but when I glanced over, he was gone. Not like he got out and walked away. Gone. The passenger door was shut. No footprints in the fresh snow. Just gone. And the inside of the car? Warm. Still. Like someone had left a blanket of peace behind. I sat there a long while, too stunned to move. My hands were shaking, but my heart felt quiet. Like something holy had passed through. I didn't know what any of it meant yet. But I knew deep down that it wasn't random. I had asked for a sign. And something had answered. The rest of the drive was a blur. Snow still falling, headlights cutting through it like a weak flashlight in fog. But I wasn't afraid anymore. Whatever had just happened, it had settled something inside me. Not everything, but something. I got to Carol's around dusk. She hugged me tighter than usual, noticed my eyes were red. "You okay?" she asked. I just nodded. Long drive. That night, I lay awake in the guest room, staring at the ceiling fan turning slowly above me. And the man's words echoed in my mind. "You'll see him again. Sooner than you think." Josh. I hadn't said his name in a long time, not out loud. But now it came like a whisper in my mind. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I wanted to say it in prayer. So I did. I whispered, "Lord, I don't know what you're doing, but if there's a way, if there's still hope, help me find it." Help him find it. No lightning, no booming voice. Just stillness. And that same peace from the car. I spent Christmas Eve with Carol. We watched a silly old movie, drank cocoa, and even sang a few carols by the fireplace. It felt warm, gentle. Like a breath after holding it in for too long. But I didn't mention the man. Not yet. The next morning, I drove home early. The sun was barely up. The sky was that pale, wintry blue. I changed into my robe and sat at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee, staring out at the snow-covered backyard. And then the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. I opened the door and nearly collapsed. Josh was standing there. Older. Thinner. His eyes looked tired, but they were the same eyes I used to kiss goodnight. He didn't say much, just stepped forward and hugged me. "I don't know why, Mom," he said softly. I just felt like I had to come home. I couldn't speak. I just held him. We stood there for a long time. And then slowly we sat down. We cried. We started talking. It wasn't everything all at once, but it was something. The beginning of a long road back. One quiet moment at a time. A few days later, after the snow had started to melt, Josh and I were sitting in the kitchen. We were just sipping tea, not saying much. I finally told him everything. The man on the road. The strange calm. The way he vanished without a trace. The words he spoke. Josh listened. Didn't interrupt. Just nodded slowly. Then he reached into his coat pocket and pulled something out. A small wooden cross. "The one you made in Sunday school," I whispered. "I don't know why," he said. "But I packed this before I left Chicago. It was in the back of a drawer. I haven't thought about it in years." We hung it back on the wall, the same wall it used to hang on back when he was still a boy. That afternoon, I went out to my garden shed. The banana bread was still in the back seat of the car. Untouched. But the inside of the car still smelled faintly like wool and snow. I closed my eyes and whispered, "Thank you." And I meant it. Not just for Josh, but for the silence that had finally lifted. For the prayer that had been heard. For the stranger in the snow. I don't know what you believe. Maybe this sounds strange to you. But I'll tell you this, God still moves. In storms. In silence. In the quiet ache of a mother's heart. And when we pray, even if it's just a whisper while folding laundry, He hears. He answers. Sometimes He sends a stranger to remind us. So if you're waiting, praying, aching for a sign, don't give up. He sees you. He's still on the move. And your miracle may already be walking toward you even now.